Welcome to the Stratusview webinar on issues and punch lists. This week, what we are going to be going through are when and why you'd want to use issues versus punch lists, as well as any setup that might be required prior to using those. There isn't much setup that will occur before that. Where you will find the issues in the punch list will be under the project management. You have the open issues as well as the punch lists. Punch lists have a very specific meaning that they're going to be done at the site in order to close out a project. Typically, you'll have your pre-punch, post-punch, whatever that might look like. Issues would typically be anything outside of that, so it can be from the very beginning of a project all the way through the end. It's when you want to assign somebody either within your team or outside of your team something to do, something to remember, just something to be done. So the first thing that I will show you is within your project defaults, your project setup under your list management. Within here, the only thing that you need to or consider changing is your punch list costs. This would be anything that you might want to include as a cost for those punch list items to better define your reporting or specific things that would be custom to you. Other than that, there is nothing that will be changed in here. And so I'm going to start in the project management open issues. Within the issues, you can have subfolders or do issues directly into the open issue area. Do note that you can have originating meeting minutes as an issue, and I'll show you that from a meeting minute. I'm going to go into and create a new issue. It will generate who is signed in. I'm signed in as a general contractor, so that's who it's from. An issue is a one-to-one, where a punch list, as I'll show you, can have multiple responsible parties. So I'm going to assign this to a specific person. I'll assign it to myself and put in, please get me the schedule by the end of the month. These can be used for things such as internal meetings that you don't want to keep on bothering your team with this. This will show up in their My Tasks, as you saw, when it's responsible for them, or anything else. So I'm doing an example of my interior team, remind them to get me my schedule before the end of the month. Location, this is providing a little bit more detail for your reports when you get into that area. Brian, please get me schedule update for review before the end. Type in whatever you'd like to type in there. Remember, the discussion section is going to be similar to the RFI section. Is there a banter back and forth about the specific topic? That's what you'd use it for. And then the file upload. CC here, this would be used to add users that want to be notified of the information and the flow of that information, but not necessarily the person that's responsible for doing that. So demo project admin will receive emails as this item has replies or is closed. And then as I add documents, it'll be added to the bottom. So as this is typed out, this is ready to go. And Brian Anson will receive this in the task list that they're responsible for. Okay, so I'm going to hit save. It is listed as number 12 here with the description if there are any attachments, who is responsible, what the current status is, the date it was created, and the date that it's due. So now as Brian Anson, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to update this just to show you the flow. I'm going to put up that schedule that they're requesting. So I'm going to drag and drop just something and put it in there. First draft of the schedule. Upload that. That will be included here at the bottom with the description, and then I'm going to put in a reply. GC, take a look at the draft and comment. I'll hit this reply. So now emails are going out, since I did hit a response in there to the general contractor as well as the demo project admin to take a look at that. I don't need to go back and forth and show you how this could be utilized. Hopefully you understand, but typically a general contractor or not general contractor, the person named general contractor could then come in here and say, I've reviewed it, upload their comments to here. Again, thinking about the closeout, that you want to have everything contained in one spot that has to be associated with this thing. So if it wasn't a final draft, it can keep on going back and forth, always holding in this one section here. The other nice thing is as you come back, you can always have those revisions of that specific schedule or item that you're talking about in this area as well. So let's assume it's done. They put good job. That works. They post that discussion, and then they're going to go ahead and close this one and hit save. So now number 12 has the attachments, the description, when it was closed, and the date it was closed. I will go back to project management just to show you the other items that are linked into the issues, which would be in meeting minutes. I'll go into a meeting, number 8 here, and I'll just pick one of the items, number 1, and you'll see this create open issue. So this is if I'm having a meeting, there's something that I want to remind, again, either my internal team or external team. I hit create issue. It's going to say, where do you want to put that? I'm going to put that in my discovery folder. Hit OK, and now there's a link. So if I go back to my issues, go into that folder discovery, I will see number 6 was created from meeting minute number 1, and here's the link to take me back to that meeting minute if I wanted to go back and forth between the two. The other nice thing is that you can create email schedulers, which will send emails with the issues report, allowing them to see all of the open issues that might be assigned to them on every Monday. So just know that that can be utilized as well. The other end we're going to go through is the punch list. Again, some folders and punch lists, you can sort this out whatever makes sense within your project. I'll go into new folder. So it's a little bit generic. You can obviously keep on going deeper and deeper by hitting new folders, or I'm just going to create a new punch list item here. You can number these if you'd want. Some people like to put buildings, if this makes sense to them. Unit 100, -01. Replace the window and trim. So the date, you can always backdate this if it makes sense for you, and I need to have this done by Wednesday. You have the 4 statuses, so there are 2 differences between the punch list and the issues. One is the statuses, you can have 4 here versus the direct one-to-one relationship in the issues. And the other one, as I mentioned, would be the responsible parties. So since this is a window, I'm going to put 2 people because it's a window and a trim. Those being the responsible parties for that. Other than that, it will be the layout will be the same as in the issues. You have your discussion reply section and your CCs. Again, the CC being the people that will receive emails but aren't specifically responsible for completing this item. Then you have your drop downs and attachments here as well. So this one is done. I'll create a potential change order from here just so you can see what happens. The same would happen in issues. You can do the same. Remember, 3 places you can create potential change orders are from the issues, the punch list, and the RFIs. What that does is it creates a link to number 18. If I click on that link to 18, it's going to actually bring me to that potential change order. It has the originating item here, which I'm going to click to get back to it, but you'll see when I'm filling this out, I'll create a new cost line event here, that the status as well as the cost does get filled in. So if I come here in pending, I'll even change it to approved. If I go back to that specific issue through it, you can see that the amount and the status is updated as that potential change order, so you can see that link between the two. These are for additional information. The summary, it's what's going to be printed in your logs and everything, and then you can have additional comments if you wanted. Make sure that you paint it too. So again, you can do any comments. The thought behind the reply and discussions would be that the responsible parties come in here, window replaced. The reason why that's nice is that will record the person being the window subcontractor, the date and the time they said that, and then the trim person can come in and say trim done. So you'll have a complete history of everything that's done on this specific one. You can go in here and close these out individually, so if the subcontractors are done, they can come and say closed. Or you can do it out here at the table side. So if you wanted to print out your punch list log, you're walking through it and you just mark it up, and you want to do one to many, you can click on if there are multiples of this specific one and close them out here, which will change the status of all the ones that are selected to be closed. As far as reporting goes, it'll be the same as punch lists and issues, that you'll have the print and the reports. If you go into the item here, go to the print and print this out, it'll print the specific item that you are on. If I go to the reports, that's going to give me the options to start filtering through those specific punch list items. So I have 17 here, I'll just print that out. But just know as I'm selecting things at the top, that's going to filter this specific punch list log out. You can choose to include or not include a lot of the information that you see here, but it does have the statuses as well as the date that was completed. This was obviously the one that I just wrote that was just done. That will conclude our punch list and issues. Again, punch lists typically associated with the end of the job when you want someone to complete something. And your issues would be at any point of the job, given a one-to-one relationship to someone that's responsible for a specific task.